Justice after decades of waiting.
It's a way to put a piece of the past away.
How the weapon used to strangle her held the key to finding her killer, plus why the case isn't closed just yet.
A man and his son trapped in the wilderness. The smart move they made that helped them survive a freezing night in the snow.
But first, a gunman opens fire in an RV park.
I grabbed my pistol and grabbed my wife and told her to run.
Why we may never know for sure why he did it, first on Fox. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shauna Parsons.
And I'm Wayne Garcia. First on Fox tonight, the man who opened fire in an RV park is dead after a shootout with police. The gunman shot a man before officers in Silverton ended a tense situation. It all happened just after 2 this afternoon in the middle of Silver Spur RV Park. Countless others were in the line of fire during the rampage. KPTV's Caitlin Bolduc joins us live from the area with more on what may have led up to this shooting. Caitlin?
Well, Wayne, just minutes ago, the owner of this RV park here came up to me and gave me a statement regarding the incident. He did confirm for us that the shooter was, in fact, a former resident here at the RV park. He says in recent weeks, he became delusional, started making threats to the tenants because he thought there was some sort of conspiracy theory out there about him. They then found out he had weapons, and so they decided to kick him out. We're told he left voluntarily last week, but today he came back with a vengeance.
He was on a mission. Yeah, I think he was here to do as much damage as he could.
Armed with 2 handguns and a rifle, police say the suspect drove straight into the Silver Spur RV park, ready to kill.
My uncle, he said that he didn't know who it was at first because he wasn't driving his normal rig, and he got out and he recognized him. He reached back in his car, pulled out a pistol, and started shooting at him. And so he said he just took off running. Witnesses
say from there, bullets went flying past them, and the suspect began firing at anyone who stood in his way.
I saw the guy, reloading, and when he got to the point where he flipped over the picnic table, and I'm looking out my window at him, it was time to go. I grabbed my pistol and grabbed my wife and told her to run, and got in the car. We ran down here.
Police say the suspect shot and injured an adult male before they arrived, and when they got to the park, they found the shooter perched behind a picnic table on a small hill. The shooter exchanged fire with deputies for several minutes before he was taken down by at least 1 round. He was life-flighted to a Portland hospital where he later died of his wounds.
Any of these types of situations are very difficult with an RV park spread out over several acres. It's obviously a challenge. But like I said, our folks did an amazing job.
While police have yet to confirm his motive, witnesses say the suspect used to live at their RV park and was kicked out sometime last week. But they never imagined he would come back like this and unleash such terror among them.
There's a lot of family people that live here that, the wives and kids were home. And I mean, that's just, it's crazy. There's a lot of innocent people here that it was totally senseless.
Now, the male victim in this incident is expected to be okay. The RV park owner confirms he is an employee here. His information is being held until his family has been notified. Now, initially, investigators told us at a press conference this evening that there was a female victim. We're told that is not the case. At first, they thought she may have been injured, but it turns out she simply witnessed the incident. We're also told more information on the shooter is expected to be released sometime tomorrow. Reporting live from Silverton, Caitlin Bolduc, the 10 o'clock news.
We are following some developing news out of Salem tonight where a driver hit and killed a man in the street. The crash happened just after 7 o'clock tonight near Lancaster Drive southeast in Beverly. Police say the victim may have been lying in the street just before the crash. KPTV's Kate Kako joins us now live with the latest developments from the scene. Kate.
Shauna, police have still not identified the man who died here tonight. They have said that he was in his 40s or 50s and he was hit by a Dodge Caravan while that car was heading southbound here on Lancaster. But as you can see behind me, this is still an active investigation. Police are trying to figure out exactly what happened here tonight. They believe, just as you said, that the man may have been lying on the street wearing dark clothing, of course, not in a crosswalk or underneath a street light when the accident happened. Now, I talked to some people who live nearby, and they told me a little bit of a different story. One woman said a man was sitting on the curb here with a woman. The woman got up to leave, and the man looked like he was trying to cross Lancaster, but changed his mind when he saw how heavy the traffic was and was actually walking back to the sidewalk when he was hit by the car. But the woman added that the man seemed very confused, almost like he didn't know where he was.
He was acting like he was drunk. Maybe I thought maybe he wasn't drunk, maybe he was feeling no good.
Of course, police are going to have to wait on toxicology reports to find out exactly what the man's state was when this accident happened. As far as the driver, she is cooperating, and police say as far as she's concerned, neither alcohol nor speed were a factor in this accident tonight. But again, Lancaster Drive right now is closed between Beverly and Wolverine. Reporting live, I'm Kate Cagle, the 10 o'clock news.
Another driver hit a man trying to cross the road in Hillsborough tonight. Police say the man was wearing dark clothes and was not in a crosswalk when the car hit him near the intersection of TV Highway and Southeast Minter Road. The force of the crash knocked him out of his shoes, but he is expected to be okay. Police say the driver is doing everything he can to help them.
Well, 25 years after a Portland woman was killed, a suspect is now going to prison. Aretha Williams was killed in Northeast Portland in 1988. Forensic testing revealed the DNA of two men was found at the crime scene, and now one of them is going to prison. KPTV's Laura Rios was in the courtroom and has the story.
25 years after Portland woman Aretha Williams was killed, her family is finding closure.
I plead guilty per North Carolina versus Alfred.
Sitting in front of a packed courtroom, Michael Garrett entered an Alfred plea to a manslaughter charge. That means he did not admit to killing Williams. Instead, he's admitting there's enough evidence to convict him of the crime.
I think it's a healing point for the whole family. I think it's a start. It's a way to put a piece of the past away.
Aretha Williams was 30 years old when she was stabbed and strangled in her home on Northeast Junior Street in September 1988. The case went cold for 20 years until 2008. That's when police arrested Garrett after forensic testing found his DNA on a cord used to strangle Williams, along with the DNA of a second unknown person found at the crime scene. In court today, Williams' sister addressed Garrett on the phone.
Michael Garrett, you will never understand what you stole from this family. Nor do I expect you to. You are a coward, a monster, and murderer.
But Garrett and his family maintain his innocence.
I feel that he made the right decision to take this plea because he was afraid of a jury trial. And I think we all know why. Because they hear one word, and that's what they, focus in on.
Williams' daughter, Aretha Garner, is now older than her mother was when she was killed. She has worked to move on from the tragedy, but wants more information about what happened to her mother and why.
I think that sometimes when you enter a plea, that is saying I'm guilty, but I'm not quite ready to live up to it yet or own up to it. I think that's a growing point too, personal, growing point. But I hope over time, if he is guilty, that he steps up to the plate and gives more information if he can.
Laura Rios, the 10 o'clock news.
Williams was sentenced to 11 years in prison with credit for the last 4 years he spent behind bars. Investigators are still trying to ID the second person whose DNA was found there at the crime scene.
Police have arrested 3 men they say they caught red-handed, and tonight they're accused of several burglaries in the Gresham area. According to court documents, these 3 suspects were seen outside of a home on Southeast Vista Avenue with duffel bags full of stolen items. Police arrested them after they got a call about 3 suspicious people trying to make their way into the home. When police got there, the men took off running, but they found them shortly afterwards. The homeowner says she's just glad they were caught before they could steal from anyone else.
They're trying to find an easy way out. Well, it's not going to be an easy way out. They're going to be in hard time.
According to the court documents, when the 3 were questioned about the burglary, they admitted to it. The trial started today for the woman accused of setting the fire that destroyed Mill City's City Hall. Former finance clerk Joy Cronin is accused of starting that fire 2 years ago to get rid of evidence that she misused city funds. Deputies arrested her about a year after that fire. A new city hall has been built just a few blocks away from where the old one burned down.
Parents in the Battleground School District got a chance to be heard on renewed efforts to extend a school levy. The current levy passed in 2010 is set to expire at the end of this year. The school board invited parents to the high school tonight to show them what the district's financial year would look like without those levy funds. Right now, the levy accounts for 20% of its operating costs, but voters didn't approve the extension earlier this month. The district may try again in April to win voter approval. Supporters of the levy say that the extra cost to taxpayers would be low and worth it.
People don't understand the actual cost of the levy and how minimal the increase was. It's basically on average an increase of $50 more a year, which is, when you look at it, maybe a cup of coffee a month to educate our kids.
The levy would generate a little over $24 million the first year and several million more over the next 4. The money would come from property taxes. Some changes are coming to Portland Public Schools, beginning with combining 2 schools. Tonight, the school board approved a plan to combine Chief Joseph Elementary and Ockley Green into one K-8 school that will open this fall. The district will still use both of the school campuses, however. The board also decided to opt out of the new open enrollment requirements established by the Oregon legislature. During the first semester of open enrollment, the district had to find room for more than 400 non-resident students.
The Oregon House of Representatives has approved $450 million in bonds, bringing the I-5 bridge replacement project one step closer to reality. But the bill requires Washington State to come up with its share of the money for the new bridge and the federal government to kick in more than $1 billion. There's also a Buy America provision to make sure locally manufactured materials will be used to build the bridge. That bill now heads to the Senate.
Well, it is a great start to the week for skiers and snowboarders. A late winter storm dumped some fresh powder on Mount Hood over the weekend, and the flakes just kept on falling today. Wind gusts made it a bit difficult to drive through the mountain passes with areas of blowing snow, and there were also some slick spots on the roads that forced drivers to take it slow. Here in the metro area, the sunshine was hit or miss. KPTV's Sophie Sung joins us now with a look at just how much of that snow fell up there. Sophie?
Yeah, here are the 24-hour total snowfall so far. Lots of fresh powder up there. Mount Hood Ski Bowl saw 8 inches from the system. A bit more for folks up at Timberline Lodge and also Meadows. Saw double-digit numbers for folks at Meadows, a foot exactly for you. 9 inches for Timberline. As we take a look at the live radar right now, you can see much of that moisture has already dissipated. So we're just left with mainly dry conditions and maybe just a pop-up sprinkle or 2 in some spots, and also some flurries right now at Government Camp. But those should continue to decrease overnight. Also, temperatures will be much chillier too, thanks to the partial clear skies that we're seeing. 38 degrees right now in Portland, 35 degrees in Eugene, 28 degrees right now in Bend. Overnight, just expect showers to end and chilly temps. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast, including some warmer and drier conditions ahead.
And take a good look at this. A man and his son survived the night trapped in the wilderness near Bend by building this snow cave. Eric Abney and his son Chase were snowmobiling when they ran out of gas. When they didn't return home yesterday, family members called for help. Well, the dad and son had plenty of warm weather gear and supplies, so they just dug into the snow and then waited for rescuers. Crews found them today. We're told they're doing just fine tonight.
The 10 o'clock news is just getting started.
A killer obsession.
I just wanted to see what he looked like. I think he's cute.
Only on 12, an inside look into the dark world of the so-called serial killer groupies. A psychologist weighs in why anyone would want to find love behind bars. Plus, huge truck, small space, big problem. The driver's explanation for why his semi got stuck. In 1 year, at one school, 186 kids dropped out. A shocking statistic.
If you see like your friends doing good, it's gonna motivate you to like do good too.
How this local school made an incredible turnaround and cut that number by 98%. And 4 babies were in no mood to wait.
Yeah, that wasn't really quite what I planned.
How some special deliveries this weekend ended up breaking a record in Portland.
You're watching the 10 o'clock news. First, live, local.